What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Planet Leo. You're now synchronized to the sights and sounds of me, Leo. I really want to thank all of you first and foremost for being a part of this channel. It's very special to me. It means a lot to me, all the interactions that I've been having with some of the fans of gaming and entertainment and technology in general. Many of you are well deserved of the word geek. I say that as a good thing because May the 4th be with you. Finally, Star Wars Day is upon us, and I just want to give a few thoughts on what it was like to grow up as a Star Wars fan in a time where in the 80s it was fun as a little kid to be a Star Wars fan, and then growing up, being in high school, it became something that was not so fun. And so I grew up being a big Star Wars fan. I casually liked it as a kid, and I say casually just because typically you don't get too into something for too long of a period of time before then something else takes over your attention. But Star Wars was one of those things that kind of just persisted and lingered, and I enjoyed the whole folklore of having this young guy learning some sort of new type of magical system, which was the Force and the Jedi ways. I enjoyed all the characters that seemed a little bit cartoony, but yet at the same time believable enough to where you can center some very important characters around them, and characters such as Yoda, the Ewoks, Chewbacca, the spaceships, the robots, R2-D2. You're my favorite. C-3PO, you were my favorite as a little kid, just because of all the gold. Back in the 80s, I thought gold was amazing. But you know, as I grew older, I found out there were better things than just gold. But yeah, anyways, so that's just some of the childlike things that I found to be very amusing, very interesting as I was a child, you know. And I do believe a lot of people as children were lured by that as well. And so it was just very amazing, I think.
Y-wings inbound.
Okay, let's see what we can do here. Snap! Oof, that's not what I wanted to do at all. So yeah, as you can see, like all these battles, all this spaceship stuff, all this crazy, just kind of almost orchestrated chaos. It's stuff that I was attracted to. You know, the battles, the wars, the almost ninja-like Jedi moves. All that stuff is the stuff that Legends are made of, and stuff that I enjoyed as a child. So fast forward to when I was in high school. When I was in high school, I really was looking forward to the special edition re-releases that were coming out. And then I looked forward to the episodes 1, 2, and 3 that were coming out. And I was kind of in the minority because by then, at least where I was at, hip hop culture, I should say, and jock culture and popular culture, I guess you could say, or popularity culture in high school was all the rage. People wanted to be popular, and those were the things, the categories that most people fell into, at least where I went to high school at in Central California. And so I was a little bit left out. I was into video games, I was into technology, I was into Star Wars, I was into science fiction, fantasy, all that kind of stuff, as well as the sports and the hip hop as well. I really enjoyed that. I'm not trying to put that down, but those were the major things that most people were into, whereas I was into not only that, but into more. And I really had not too many people to talk with regarding Star Wars, regarding the films, regarding the video games, regarding even the toys. I was a big Star Wars toy collector. I was into the films, of course. I was into probably even more so than the films. I was into the video games. I really, really enjoyed the video games in the Star Wars universe, starting with the Super NES video games. I know there were some for Nintendo, however, I really don't remember being a big fan of those. I remember I really, really started getting into like Super Star Wars, Super Empire Strikes Back, Super Return of the Jedi, and then on moving on to Nintendo 64, Shadows of the Empire was one of my favorites. Even though it's a terrible game by today's standards. Then we have moving forward, Rogue Squadron, which is an excellent game. Even nowadays, I think it's an excellent game. A lot of the newer games, such as this one, still borrow a lot from that particular series, and so it's all good. I would say I really enjoy it. So that was high school. Interesting little story I'd like to share of my high school years. When I was in high school, I had one teacher. He was a white teacher, and I say that very fondly. And he taught Spanish. And I'm saying that this because here you have something that's kind of ironic. You have American-born teacher, Anglo-Saxon teacher, who's teaching this Latino boy that grew up in a Spanish household, teaching him how to speak Spanish even better than he already knows. So that's kind of interesting in itself. However, this guy used to call everybody a loser in his classroom. All the other students, he used to call them losers, and this and that, and he would say it kind of fondly in a way, but it was at the same time he would just he would look at me and he would say, like, you Leo, you're worthy. You're one of the worthy ones because you actually like Star Wars. And he actually kind of quizzed me a little bit just to make sure I'm a real Star Wars fan. And obviously I passed his little Q&A session, the Star Wars test with flying colors. He knew I was a real fan, not just somebody that was saying it to try to brown nose him, or become, a teacher's pet of sorts. But anyway, so that was cool. Really, really nice relationship, student-teacher relationship with that teacher. And we talked Star Wars when there was almost nobody else to talk Star Wars about, except with my best buds, Rick and Francisco. Rick was a casual Star Wars fan, wasn't too into like all the collecting and everything else that went along with it, but he enjoyed Star Wars. And then Francisco and I were like uber nerd type Star Wars fans at the time, and we enjoyed collecting the toys, we enjoyed the films, we enjoyed the video games, the books as well that came out, and all the rumors and whatnot regarding Star Wars, and all of the following that it had for so many years, where all those little kids just like us, we were all growing up and we were turning it into something new and different, at least as far as the lore goes. And then Star Wars episode out, and it was huge for a little while, but then kind of like people kind of started being turned off by Star Wars just because the reputation of it was slightly damaged, I guess you could say, because they were just not very popular amongst the mainstream. And so, I mean, it's understandable. They're not great movies, to put it lightly, but that's another story for another time. Yeah, we got him. Bam. Disappeared. Okay, sorry, I'm distracted here. So yeah, Star Wars. Star Wars in high school. I didn't have too many fans, but it was fun while it lasted. Where are we going here? Oh, you got me. Gosh darn it. So yeah, popularity kind of decreased, and it was just kind of stagnant for a long, long time. And then Disney took over the rights for Star Wars. Disney, as many of you know, kind of has been doing things right with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and so now they take over Star Wars. Everybody's excited because they know Disney paid all this money. They're obviously going to try and get their money's worth. Oh, they got me. They got me. They're going to get their money's worth. They're going to obviously start making a new trilogy. And not only that, they announced a series of new side films as well as side shows with the new Netflix series and some animated series as well in the works for the little kids. And so it's a good time to be a Star Wars fan. People are excited. Episode 7 is out, and Episode 7 was a big hit. It looks like Star Wars is headed in a very good direction with the quality of filmmaking. A lot of people are excited that it's not super heavy on the CG, although I think it does have plenty of CG. It's just a lot more realistic nowadays. People can't tell it's CG because of the quality of it, and it's not overused. It's not blatantly used for the most part. The Episode 7 film, I think, was a really, really fun movie to watch. More fun than possibly any of the other films. However, it does have its flaws. It's not a great film. To be a great film, you have to be something that's extra, extra special. In terms of the Star Wars universe, I only consider one film to be great, and that would be Episode 5. The Empire Strikes Back, I would consider to be a great, great film. The other ones are just good, solid, fun films, and they have a good lore of them. And so that's, just my personal thoughts on it, and where I think the series is headed to. I think it's going to end up building up to being a great trilogy. That's where I don't think it's just going to be good. I think they set the foundation with Episode 7, and it's going to move into directions where possibly are going to be a little bit uncharted. There might be a big twist in it that's going to kind of put the Star Wars universe as we know it on its axis, and so we'll just see. I said axis. Don't get my words confused, folks. So just to end off this little blog, I guess if that's what you want to call it, I want to find out. I want to have a conversation with all of you. Growing up in my high school years, I didn't get to conversate too much about Star Wars with most people because it wasn't so popular. It was considered a nerd thing back when being a nerd was not considered a good thing, or a geek as well. I want to talk with you. What do you guys think about Star Wars? Do you have any interesting Star Wars stories of growing up, of maybe something that happened to you in terms of something that's related to Star Wars that you might want to talk about? Also, where you think the series is going, and let's try to be spoiler free if possible in the comments section. I want to conversate with you. I do check my comments on almost a daily basis, so I will try to get back in touch with you as soon as you write it, and that way we can start a nice conversation about Star Wars, man. I'm really, really excited about what's coming up and what was as well. We all have our own little Star Wars story, and it's always fun. It's always fun. Star Wars is a great thing in terms of the world of entertainment. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Planet Leo. Also our sister site at daddysgametime.com. Go ahead and check us out there. And remember, enjoy your games and love your families. I'm Leo, signing off.